The long answer is the Social Security Act doesn't allow the agency to use money for administrative work not connected to its main mission. So they couldn't get the IRS the information it needed to send out checks. But thanks to some legal wrangling, that's been worked out. One group left out of this good news, VA beneficiaries. The IRS says it's continuing to review data it has on people who get veterans benefits but don't file a tax return. The IRS does...
Folks, there is an updated list of states that are about to send out a fourth check this month, and the lawmakers in many places like Illinois, Pennsylvania, and even New Jersey have released programs that are providing millions of dollars to thousands of low-income residents. So the several arrival dates for these payments have been confirmed and just announced. I'll be revealing these details in this video. Stimulus payments are back. Although the crisis has become more bearable, Americans are still dealing with a tough financial crisis to deal with. CNBC reports about 62% of workers across the country live paycheck to paycheck. It has led to many state governors to agree to send out bonus checks to the residents. It includes people in places like New Jersey and Pennsylvania and Rhode Island. For instance, New Jersey is offering another program to give communities stimulus money and to help the people out. Now, if this applies to you, you must file an application with the state's Division of Taxation by December 30th. Payments will go out in the spring, and families can expect to receive a child rebate in the state of Rhode Island. The program provides a rebate of $250 per child for up to 3 children, or $750 per family. To be eligible, you must be a resident for all of 2021, and children must be 18 years or older to qualify for this check. Now, if you're $100,000 as an individual, you'll get the payment as well. Now, people say in the state that the checks were mailed out early in October last month, and for those that filed a 2021 tax return, you should have gotten yours by the middle of this month. So, in addition to this low-income stimulus money, Pennsylvania low-income homeowners and renters are getting some bigger financial relief. Most checks will be capped at $650, though some homeowners will see a boost of $970 based on age, widow, or even widower status and disabilities. There's also news for the Delaware residents. State officials have said you must be able to send in an application through the end of this year in order to get the $900. You can also get a $300 one-time check. To receive the money, you must be a resident of Delaware by the end of this year. In addition, you have to apply for it. The deadline to apply for it, though, is towards the end of this month, so make sure you get your money fast. Nancy Pelosi also said that she will address her future plans this week. A spokesperson for Pelosi said that Nancy Pelosi has been overwhelmed by calls from colleagues and supporters. The speaker plans to address her future plans tomorrow. So, I hear that Nancy Pelosi is retiring, but it still means one thing: stimulus is still necessary. Speculations over Nancy Pelosi's future has intensified in the aftermath of the midterms. Now, some people in Washington say that she can send out more stimulus money before the end of her career, so hopefully she will do this. Now, CNN did project that Republicans are going to take control this January through a smaller margin than they hoped for. Pelosi said in a separate statement that the House had defied expectations in midterms and didn't mention any of other future plans. The longtime Democratic leader told CNN that members of her caucus had asked her to reconsider running in the party's leadership elections at the end of the month, and Pelosi is an important figure in American politics with a history-making legacy as the first and so far only woman to be the Speaker of the House. Do you support Nancy Pelosi and her move on stimulus, everybody? Tell me in the comments.
Senate Committee on Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs will come to order. Welcome to the witnesses and committee members. We know that most Americans want the same things: a safe, affordable place to call home, a good-paying job, a strong, stable government which they can trust. Our democratic institutions are only as strong as the people who empower them. Our economy works best when we have a free and fair democracy in which everyone can live lives with dignity. For too long, many of these dreams have felt out of reach. Working families struggle to pay for groceries, to keep gas in their car, to keep a roof over their heads. The cost of living and raising kids continues to rise. Democrats are listening and have delivered for the American people. We've passed legislation to lower prescription drug costs. We helped families stay in their homes during the height of the pandemic. We made investments in public transit and our nation's infrastructure. For the first time in generations, we focused on communities that our governments turned their back on, especially, for instance, in my state, it's state government. Now we're tackling inflation by taking on corporate power and consolidation and reducing our dependence on foreign oil. We do that while creating good-paying manufacturing jobs at home. These jobs, making semiconductors, electric vehicles, solar panels, are the jobs of the future. These jobs will go to Americans because we passed the CHIPS Act, the Inflation Reduction Act, and the bipartisan infrastructure law with strong Buy America provisions that Senator Portman and I worked on. And we see results. Our economic recovery has been strong. Over the past 2 years, many Americans have built up more in savings. We've seen robust job growth for the first time in decades. We've seen wage gains. Just last week, we began to see signs that inflation is starting to cool. Banks and credit unions are doing well thanks for the protections we put in place in Dodd-Frank and because of the support that Congress and regulators provided during the pandemic. Too many big corporations, though, have taken advantage of market concentration, jacking up consumer prices, earning higher and higher profits. As my colleague Senator Reid has pointed out, the biggest banks that benefit from higher interest rates today are not passing on those benefits to their customers, again penalizing Americans who are trying to build up savings. Workers and small businesses already.
So the good news, everybody, is here about the fourth stimulus check, and here's a ton of information that you're going to learn in this video. Now, a new bill has been passed. Yes, a new bill has been passed, and the Georgia governor officially signed a bill that actually would deliver additional income tax refunds due to the state's budget surplus. The Department of Revenue confirmed that the bill will actually refund some or all of the 2020 income taxes for 2020 and 2021 filers. According to the Department of Revenue, said single filers receive a $250 check. Single adults with dependents receive a $375 refund, and married couples receive $500. The good news is that Georgians could receive their check in the coming weeks. The Department of Revenue says it will attempt to include the new bill's refund check along with other refunds amounts due on 2021 returns actually. The state will issue a separate refund for Georgians who already filed taxes for 2021 prior to the bill becoming law. And Georgians who filed taxes in 2020 and 2021 by the deadline will receive some along with the regular state refund. It is important to note that the additional action is not necessary for people who already filed their income taxes. The Department of Revenue will actually send the refund to your designated bank account or check. Now here's some more breaking news from the Biden administration. President Biden announced today that his administration is proposing a tweak to the Affordable Care Act to make health insurance more affordable for millions of people in the country. The shift would actually fix what is known as the family glitch, a loophole that has prohibited more than 5 million people from accessing subsidized health plans on the Affordable Care Act marketplaces, even if they don't actually have their other affordable options. Experts have said that it is a huge deal, and it is one of the biggest things that Biden administration can do on its own to expand coverage. The fix, which the Biden administration can make on its own without relying on the Democrats' slim majorities in Congress, represents Biden's latest effort to use the Affordable Care Act as a vehicle to lower costs and improve coverage for people. Biden announced a new change at an event with the former president, who signed the Affordable Care Act into law 12 years ago and was making his first visit to the White House since leaving office in 2017. Now, according to the Treasury Department,